Hi, guys. We are back with Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I should have checked before we started the episode to remind myself what chapters we read. Did I? Absolutely not. We stopped at 37 this time. 25 to 37, I think.
No,
20, was it
Yes.
28? Okay, I don't
no, I think it
remember.
was
Oh,
25.
man.
No,
25,
25
25 to
is right, I
37.
think.
I looked at my notes. If I had $1 for every episode that starts with me trying to remember what chapters we read or ending with me trying to remember what chapters we're about to read, I would have a lot of money. Um, so we're here. We're here with Reckless, chapters 25 to 37. I want to dive right in and talk about what do I want to dive in and talk about specific. All right, I'm gonna go for it. I need to talk about the thing that most took up all of my brain space in this section, which was the long length of chain that is connecting our two main characters.
Is
It's
it long?
this chain, we have no idea how long it is. Sometimes it is like 4 feet, sometimes it feels like 20 feet. No idea how long this chain is. I immediately, when Kai had the chain, like when it was like clink clank, what does he have? I didn't know then. But the minute it was like, oh, he brought a chain into the sewer as we're escaping the prison, I was like, girl, how do you not know what this chain is for? Um, so I knew at that point I wasn't thrilled with him with how he got it on her. That hurt me a lot. I don't know how you guys felt about the chain's origins. Like, just thoughts in general. How do we feel about it being a plot point? Like, where are we at on Chain Gate?
Can you explain something to me?
I'll
And it
do
could
my
just
best, Elena.
be that like I'm not reading the most closely, but I thought they were like swimming through the sewer, almost drowning, and then when she went to like pull him up, she was like, "What's this weird chain? Don't need this," and threw it into the sewer. Did she
Mhm.
never actually throw it away?
No, I think it's like on him. Like I pictured it like he
Yeah.
he has it like around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So I don't think that she actually notices the chain until she helps bring him up to the
Hmm.
surface and saves him from drowning. And then they're like recovering in this alleyway. And she's like, oh, that's what that clanking noise was. He brought a chain with him. And at that point, I didn't know how she didn't put two and two together. I was like, it's not a surprise to any of us, including you, that he wants to take you prisoner and drag you back to his brother, or I guess like kind of wants to, feels that he has to drag you back to his brother. Um, but it still hurt me that I felt like they had made so much progress in that sewer, which like I am going to own it. I loved the sewer scene. Was not worried they were going to die for a single second, but I absolutely loved the sewer scene. We're going to go back and talk about that. But I felt like they gained so much ground in their relationship in the sewer, and then he immediately is like, what if we made out again? And she's kind of fallen for it, and he's like, and I gotcha. And I'm like, Kai, why did you do that, bud? I was upset.
Too, that he did that in that way.
uh,
I
I
didn't
will
put two
say,
and two together that he was like he had that chain to chain her to
mhm.
him.
I to be fair, I did not think that he was going to chain her to him. I thought he was going to shackle her with a long chain and then like hold the chain, maybe like find
Like
a
a leash.
carabiner or something. Right, I thought it was going to be more like a leash. The fact that this man chained his ankle to her ankle and then was like, let's escape this city where we're both wanted. I was like, there's no way that this lasts long. The next scene is going to be him realizing this was stupid and we need to go find a blacksmith. Guys, they're still chained. Like they've been chained for almost this whole section and they are
Right.
still chained. How are they still chained?
He hasn't had a single thought in any of his POVs being like the chain was a mistake.
No, he like triples down on Chain.
Okay. I have two thoughts. One that
Go.
Brooke said, one that Brooke said, blacksmith. Who is the blacksmith that needs to come back? And we
Well,
haven't
he's in
seen him.
another city.
Oh,
No, I know, but I'm saying he needs to come back. This could be.
This Oh my god, is this how we meet Mac?
Yeah, maybe.
That
Okay,
would
the
be
second thing
amazing.
is, what if this is more like a metaphorical, like, tether that they're meant to be?
Oh, that's not in this book series yet, but I love it.
Yeah. But there's,
Oh,
like, there's always been this connection to them, so this is more like a physical chain,
yes.
obviously.
Yeah. No, I do love that it could be something like some sort of mating bond type tether. Adorable, very cute. Love the idea. I didn't when I even said blacksmith, my two and two did not get put together because
I
I'm
know.
gonna be totally honest, I have already written Mac off. In my mind, there's no way this guy's ever coming back. And I'm I'm coming to be at peace with that because I have to. But I know I love that. I The only other thing that I want to say about the chain is that as absolutely ridiculous as I think the chain is, like the fact that like it happened, I love it. I love it so hard because the different funny moments that we've gotten with the chain are worth it. They're worth it to me. Like him crawling out of the hay loft in the barn and like almost dragging her because she didn't want to get out of bed. Like somehow him fighting hand-to-hand combat while she stood still and her being enamored with how good he is at fighting somehow while chained to her ankle. Like it it's crazy and it makes no sense, but I think it's hilarious.
it doesn't make sense. How
No,
long is the chain? Why
infinite.
are
It's as long as it needs to be.
why is it sometimes that they are standing next to each other and other times she's crawling through a second story window and he just jumps a little bit?
How is he fighting?
Sometimes
How are they getting on a horse together? I mean,
I
it
did
said that he
appreciate
wraps it around her leg, and then she has
yes.
a skirt to cover it, but
Yes.
what how
On
thick
the
I
list of
appreciate
unbelievable,
I
a
appreciated that
giant skirt.
they did describe how the chain is like between them on the horse because it's like on her like right ankle and his left ankle or vice versa. So there was a line which I appreciated that was like he got her like up into the saddle and then like brought the chain in between them as he got up like behind her. So the chain is like in between them while they're riding the horse. Um, but yeah, just sometimes the chain disappears because it has to, because they're just running through a city and there's no way. There's like no one's good at the three-legged race. Like that's what they're doing right now.
They sat at a poker table and no
Yep.
one the chain attached
The
to her leg.
the jokes
isn't
from
she
like the
on his
insert.
lap too?
And didn't
Yep.
she take the skirt off to do it? Am I like, is that
No.
just in my she
Still
takes it
had
off
the skirt.
later?
Yep. Still had the skirt
You're right.
attached.
The skirt is the invisibility cloak. No one can
Mhm.
see the chain past the skirt.
Yeah. Absolutely insane, but I think that it's hilarious and I enjoy the things that are happening in the plot because of the chain. So I'm not going to be upset, but it like we had to talk. We had to talk about the chain because it was most of this section. Um the other thing that I want to go back to, unless anybody else had something else that they wanted to talk about, was the sewer escape. Pausing just in case anyone does not want to talk about how much they loved and or hated the sewer escape. Me personally, both simultaneously. There were so many descriptions of the water being on them, and it wasn't until like 4 chapters later that either one of them was like, oh yeah, it was like 98% water because they were flushing the tunnel. And I was like, barely better, but also I wish that you had said that before because the whole time they're like, I'm gonna make out with you. I'm like, not here. Could we not?
Literally.
But at the same time, I loved it. Guys, I loved it. Like, it was so cute. They thought they were going to die, and they both needed to, like, basically tell each other that they loved each other. And I knew they weren't going to die, but they didn't do that, and that's all that matters.
I think what ruined it was that he put the chain on her afterwards, after she saved his life. And
Yeah.
that's why I don't know, I don't really care for it.
Mm, it, like, totally it retconned it for
It like
you.
yeah, it tarnished it.
Yeah.
Also, the makeout scene, I was having the same reaction to it, where I was like, "You're in a sewer," because they kept using language like, "And I'm breathing him in," and I was like, breathing into it, like, "Plug your nose." Like, what are what?
Oh, I just almost spit out my tea. That was great. Yeah. No, yeah, it was gross. It was so gross. Um, I,
And then Girly can't take her pants off because of the chain, so she's in her sewer pants forever.
they
Oh
both
my
are.
it was
It's
like
both of them.
we get her, like, bathing POV when she's like, "I'm just gonna bathe with my pants on," and then, like, she gets out of the bath and she goes, "I'm gonna go to the other room to dry these off," and I was like, "How? How are you drying those off? Are you just, like, standing there?"
This is me pulling on my own personal um like life. And I pictured her in like skinny jeans because that's basically all that I wear. And I was like, first of all, you don't get those wet. Like you're not getting out of them ever. Like that's just you're in that forever. And so I would have appreciated if they had described the pants a little more. And if they did at some point, I wasn't paying attention and I forgot. So I'm sorry, Lauren, if you did describe the pants and they're like, you know, balloony or whatever, and they could possibly air. But I was just like, how are the two of you living your life like with this chain wrapped around your ankles and also in these pants that you have never been like you can't take them off ever? I just feel so uncomfortable.
Also, did cutting the pants off not an option so that you could bathe and then finding a new pair of pants?
Helena, say that back to yourself because I actually think that would be crazier because they get chased out of that room that they're not supposed to be in. So the two of them would have been running through the streets of the city, chained at the ankle in their underwear. Like that's how that would have happened.
Winnie the Pooh it. No, I don't think it's that crazy. They just steal the skirt or they go into the hotel room and then cut off their pants and then you tie in the skirt, like, assume it's like a wrap skirt.
Yeah,
Or even if it's a normal skirt, you pull it on this way.
I don't I don't know. They didn't. They didn't do that. Maybe they should have. I really want to know how much longer they're going to be chained to where it will make sense that that doesn't come up. Like, hey, my
The
pants smell really bad and are very uncomfortable.
They're going to roll into Ilya Chain, and Kit's gonna be like, "He cheated on me because he loves her, so that I can't hurt him."
I do really like the idea now that Mac is going to be the one to take the chain off. I think that that would be a good way for them to meet him, and I like that, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Even though I've written him off, I'm going to give myself a small sliver of hope that that does happen. I feel like in talking about like the sewer escape and getting out of that, we also have to talk about how they got there. And one thing that I cannot figure out is what happened to the resistance. Like we talked about this at the end of the last section and how all of a sudden like they're going to sleep in this big like warehouse that has all of the mixes and like Lenny and our, you know, our best friends whose names I've already forgotten because we met them for like 20 whole pages. But like I personally thought in like the next chapter or two, we were gonna get the whole like, oh no, what happened to those people that were in that room with us when we got taken by Raphael? It hasn't come up at all. Like one time, and I think it was like 2 chapters ago. So this is like 10 chapters later. Peyton is thinking like, oh, I like it wouldn't it be great if like Lenny could come find me? And it's like, girl, how do you know that he's even alive? Like did they kill everyone in that room to get you? Like, did Lenny sell you out to Raphael? Like, you don't know, and it's just never come up. And I was so surprised that it's not even been a topic of conversation at all.
Yeah, like that didn't make sense to me at all.
No,
Their capture and imprisonment. Because, like,
like
what
Yeah.
out
about
of
everyone else?
a
How
room
could they have
full of
gotten away with
people.
it? So, yeah, yeah, in a room full of people. It tells me that like they were in on it.
Or they'll
Were they?
just never come up again.
Or can I say it?
Yeah.
Can I say it? Bad writing.
I was going to say plot hole, which basically we were going to say the same thing. They're just
Okay,
synonyms.
plot. Plot.
Because what I'm assuming is that it's just not ever going to come up again. Or that like Lenny will show up at some point and be like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that you're safe. And she's going to be like, I'm so glad you're safe too. And they'll just never talk about how she and Kai got taken by Raphael. Like it'll just never come up. But yeah. Um, in my wildest theory, if this were to happen, it would be one of the other two people whose names I've forgotten. Like they sold out Peyton and Kai because like they don't like Kai and Peyton is tarnished goods in terms of the resistance. Like she's already been made, like she's not going to be a good tool for the resistance. So if it is like a plot twist, that would be my guess. I think it's a plot hole, but we'll see. We will see.
Speaking of plot holes,
Yeah. Which one do you want to talk about?
Peyton has the huge like, oh my god, what is my life moment when she realizes that she's not mixed. Which
Yes.
like, and she's like, I've never thought about it before. Like, shouldn't I be half power? Which like weird because we were like, oh, they didn't know about mixes. Like it wasn't confirmed until beforehand, but versus like her comment makes it seem like it's something she should have thought about beforehand. And two, the math don't math. Like unless like her dad's not her real dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It
Kai brought up a really good point.
My fear is that this is the start of a plot line where she does have powers because I personally really do like that she doesn't at this point. Like I think
Mhm.
if we had started this line of questioning like beginning of powerless, I'd be more on board. I don't know what way we can introduce Peyton having some sort of elite gift in that I'm going to feel satisfied with, but like maybe I will. And just at this point I don't feel that way. But I do agree with you, Elena, because I was very sure, and I know we talked about this in the last episode, that mixes were sort of like a new revelation to at least this group. And then all of a sudden Peyton's like, well, yeah, of course that's like what your dad was trying to keep, like like that was what your dad hated. Like he didn't want mixes for the ordinaries. So it does seem like we just adopted that as common knowledge. Which I didn't love. That did feel kind of plot holy to me a little bit.
I didn't love that either.
Yeah,
Felt like I felt like we were cheated having this information just thrown
Yeah.
in the second book.
yeah. And like if it is common knowledge, then it's hard for me to believe she's never considered it ever when we're supposed to like she's supposed to be so observant and thoughtful.
Hmm.
It did seem very against her character. And like they gave the explanation of like, oh well, I've always been fighting for my life. And I was like, okay, I've got to either believe that like mixes were barely known about, if not at all, or mixes are common knowledge to like the people in the know, like the the ordinaries, the people who are ordinary sympathizers. And if we're going with the everybody knows about mixes, she definitely should have questioned why don't I have powers? Because now it sounds like if you have one parent who's an elite, you end up with something usually. So, yeah, I don't know where that is going now that it's been brought up.
Like, what was she doing when as a kid if her dad was supposedly the leader of resistance? Where was she?
He was just doing it secretly,
Yeah, but weren't they
Yeah.
always together?
and it wasn't she supposed to be super good at noticing things? Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I guess you can give her the benefit of the doubt. She was what, 12?
A kid. Yeah, 12, 13.
Yeah, you make up a lot of reasons for stuff, especially with your parents that age, I feel. So we'll give it to her. We'll
But
give
you
it to
think
her.
there'd be like some kind of clue? Some authors would do that.
Yeah.
My
I don't
dad was
know.
off something. He went behind the shelf and I didn't see him again.
He's
A
always like
bookcase.
in the basement.
I didn't know he had a basement.
So
What's
weird.
that doing here?
Yeah.
I hear voices down there. What?
Um, was it in this section that we find out like that Kai remembers that he killed her dad?
No, it was the
No,
last
it was the
section.
last
Last section.
one.
Okay. That's
Oh, I'm
what I
glad I'm not the only one that get their
thought.
stuff mixed up.
Yeah, sometimes I forget like where and it's come up a lot in this section, like they've talked about it a
Mhm.
lot. Which honestly like I don't hate. I do feel like they've been doing a good job of like the two of them trying to bridge this gap between them. Like they went hard into, oh no, we're dying, let's make out just in case this is the last chance we ever get. But I feel like now they're doing a good job of like bringing up personal stuff and like their baggage with each other and like having like meaningful conversations with each other to try to bridge that gap. Speaking of meaningful conversations, how do we feel about Ava? Because I, for one, am glad that she came up again because I thought it was going to be like a random plot addition at the beginning of this book that we might not ever see again. So we did. Ava's come back up now, and Kai has told Peyton about his sister, and I really appreciated the story behind why we don't ever hear about her. So it made it make sense to me, and it made it feel more realistic that she wasn't mentioned at all in the first book that we haven't heard about her since the beginning of this one. But how did you guys feel about that whole story with her?
I liked this added background story. I wish there was more. There's gotta be more. I
Yeah.
think I'm still irked about Kit though. While he was grieving, he remembered that it was Ava's birthday with the sticky buns, but he didn't do anything to celebrate. And he said that, oh, I missed going to the willow tree. And it just reminded me, and I'm trying to be open minded about Kit, but it just I don't like I know he's grieving, but it makes me feel like he's just selfish. I don't know. Like there's people relying on him. He's king now. He just has to own it.
Yeah, and in this section, I feel like we moved past him grieving almost. Not that he's not grieving, but he was like, "Should I even be grieving?" Like, he has a moment where he's like, "My dad wasn't that great, like, he was never nice to me either. I shouldn't be grieving." And he's just more feeling sorry for himself that he has to be king now.
I feel like it's in the middle. Like I think that he's trying to get beyond like actively grieving, but I genuinely think that like something has broken inside of him, like from what happened. So I also, Jamie, I'm also trying to like be understanding for Kit
Hmm.
instead of just like seeing his name rolling my eyes and wishing I could just skip to the next chapter.
Or I
So I
can't help it.
Right, no. So like I appreciate that he's leaving his office. He like went to see Gail, which I was glad that, he's like
Mm.
doing something, but he's clearly not in his right mind. Like one moment he's so thankful that Kai's his brother and he loves him. The next minute he's like, "Oh my goodness, Kai has probably run away with Peyton and now they're together and I can't believe it." And then he's like obsessing over Peyton and I think like writing her letters, but then also considering proposing to someone who I personally think is also Peyton, but like he is all over the map. And
Yeah.
like taking that as like it being written like that on purpose, like he is clearly, he keeps saying like, oh, they all think I'm the Mad King, and I'm like, buddy, it's because you are. Like you have actually, you have gone off the deep end. Like I don't know what you're gonna do next because all of your motivations are just everywhere. And I mean like that could be kind of realistic. Like I think something snapped and he now no longer can you trust like what his next move is gonna be.
I'm hoping because we have his POV that he gets some kind of redemption at the end.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point of having him as a main POV in these books?
I
Yeah.
also want something for him. Like I don't love how much I roll my eyes every time I see his name. Like I keep trying to remind myself what a good character he was in the first book. Like just so genuine and like thoughtful and like wanted to be a good king, and I'm like that's still in there somewhere. Can we bring it out?
I am also on, like, slowly coming towards, is this ring for Peyton? Because like, he keeps carrying it around and not doing anything with it, and I'm like, "No, buddy. No, that's not what that's for."
We talked about this in the last episode, and I agree that I don't see a reason why Callum would have told him to
Yeah.
propose to Peyton. It makes no sense. My wondering is, was Callum doing the like you should propose to Blair or like somebody of like somewhat royal heritage and like move on, become king, take your place, and is Kitt going to just like be crazy and see her and be like, you have to marry me, you have to marry me, or I kill Kai. That's it. Those are your options. And like I'm just so worried that that's where we're getting to.
Oh goodness.
All the signs are there. He's being so jealous, so possessive, so unhinged. Like I could see him doing something that makes no sense.
Especially in his, like, his first POV when he at first he's focusing on wanting Kai back, but then and he ends the chapter with being like, "She needs to come back to me, like, she needs," and I was like, Buddy, you're supposed to be mad at her, like, why are you like, you need her here? You sound like a, like, yearning teen."
Yeah. I keep coming back to like Hit. He liked her first. You knew that. Like
I don't know, but going back to Ava, I'm
mhm.
just confused about why she exists as a character. Like, it was a really heartfelt moment between them where Kai's, like, telling Peyton, and, like, maybe it's just that, maybe it was just to have the, like, I've lost someone too, like, that was really important to me, but it just feels like she was brought up as, like, a big, like, surprise at the beginning of this book, and then, like, we just had this reveal, and I was just expecting there to be more to it.
I still would love, like, one of my wild theories about Kai not actually being his dad's son to be real and to have Ava be like some sort of clue to like Kai's parentage or something. But like when he describes Ava, he describes her just like him. Like he says that. He's like she's the beautiful version of me. So it's like if their genetics are so aligned that they looked so similar, like it stands to reason that they probably have the same parents. And like could Kai's mom have cheated on his dad twice with the same guy? Probably not. And all signs also point to her, like, for whatever reason, being super in love with the king because she's dying of a broken heart, which, like, that was a big eye roll for me. I am not a fan of that. Like as much as I love like everlasting love and like I want you to be I want you to be symbolically dying if like the person you love most in the world is dying, but you don't actually die. Like you actually have to keep going. Like that's yeah. Yeah, sorry, Elena, go ahead.
So if your significant other dies, you think the other person should keep going? Like they shouldn't have a pact where they both die per se?
Let me clarify. If the person you love most in the world has died and you can't possibly go on, then just off yourself. That's the only way. You can't just die of a broken heart. That's not a thing. That doesn't exist. I am not
It
condoning
makes
offing yourself. I'm just saying, if you're going to die from a broken heart, that's the only way to do it. You, Jamie? Jamie? I'm cutting that, right? I have to cut it.
yeah, you're gonna have to
Okay.
cut.
It's cut. I cut it. You're
Especially when
hearing
Elena
this.
says, "Oh, but Darth Vader's his dad."
But I spoiled something for Star Wars,
No,
so
so
I
Darth
cut it.
Vader's his dad.
Yeah.
Back to the
Dillis.
Queen.
There are like
Personally,
there are Gen Z. I'm sorry. I didn't
oh
mean
no
to-
no no. Yeah,
but like
no,
our younger, folks that have never seen Star Wars, or at
you're
least like
right.
older ones, I
I Here I was assuming everyone has seen or at least knows the key plot points of Star Wars, but I was proven wrong in this moment, and
guess.
I think this was a first. This was a book court first where I almost ruined something for Elena. Usually it is the other way around. I apologize profusely. Um with the Queen,
Yeah.
honestly, the her dying of a broken heart is so eye rolly to me that I honestly hope it's something nefarious. Like I hope that somebody is poisoning her or like has already killed her and she's just like dying in the background. Like I hope that it's something interesting for why she's dying.
Do you know the timeline of this? It's 2 weeks.
It's
2 weeks
very
and
short.
Ty has slept, but we still haven't seen the mother or the queen.
No. To be fair, the only
Oh,
person whose POV we have that's back in Ilia has been hanging out in his office for 14 days, throwing food out the window. Yeah,
no
you
one
with the
else
hand.
seems no one else seems to change how long it takes to cross the desert and or go through this other new path to get between Elliot and Dora. I feel like they really hyped it up as like an awful, like terrible, impossible journey. And then they were like 3 days or so.
But now they're going the long way. They're going all the way around.
Or 5 days or
Agreed.
so. And
This
there's bandits there, even though there's no one there because it's dangerous. So who are the bandits thieving from?
That's a great question. Who are the bandits thieving from?
That was my first question. They were like, "Oh, no one goes that way because of the bandits." And I was like, "Then why are the bandits still there? It's not like there's a huge trade route between Ilya and Dor."
Elena, I didn't even think about that, but you're so right. Wow. Yep.
Add it to the list of plot holes.
Yeah, no, the bandits are just it's a group. It's like a commune of bandits and they just bandit people.
Like,
just
you could have had a
just
cult
banned
that
it.
lived out there, like just a group of like scavengers, but bandits.
Bandits. I'm personally hoping ghosts. Like we've sort of alluded to like maybe some ghosts because it's all cemetery-y, so I'm hoping maybe something like slightly supernatural and spooky. That'd be cool.
It's just a 5-day path through a gigantic cemetery.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
giving Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Which I love. I love that vibe. I don't know how long it's going to take them to get through it. I don't know why. I don't know why they're going this way and not through the desert personally. Like they made it through with no problem the first time, so I don't know why we're not doing it a second time, but
Because of the chain.
why couldn't the chain go in the desert?
I don't know, but when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go this way," they were like, "Because of the chain," and I was like, "Why?"
Oh,
So I'm
maybe
like,
it was
"There's."
they would be too visible for them to go like out that part of the city. Maybe they said
It,
that.
I That's the vibe I think it was because then they were like, "We're like going around the outskirts of the city so people can't see us." But it
Okay.
seems like there's a lot of people on the outskirts of the city still.
Yeah, they were, like, dodging them as they were running through the streets with the horse and everything. Yeah.
Also, I don't understand why they don't go out to the Sorrows and then still cut across the desert.
Well, because at that point, I mean, you're already there, so you might as well just go around because it does seem like it's closer at that point. Yeah, I don't know. Um, that was all I had. Those were my notes. There was one more thing that I wanted to say. The whole like pretending thing. I love it. I absolutely love it. I want you to tell me why you guys hate it. I do. And it's okay. It's okay for us to disagree. I think I'm just again, Stockholm syndrome. I am so taken with these two people. Even Liam Neeson couldn't get me back at this point. Like I am in it. And that wasn't ruining anything if you have not seen that movie cuz honestly, neither have I. I just
I
know the
don't know what
reference.
movie you're referencing.
That's fine. For the
It's
people
called
that did,
Taken.
they laughed. For the people that didn't, we're moving on. I love this couple so much that every single time they're like, let's just pretend. I'm like, yes, can we please? Because your current reality is giving me anxiety.
I just feel like I'm at the point where it's been so long of like, "Oh, I hate him. Oh, I like him." Like, it's gone on too long for me where, like sort of like this section, I felt like no and last section, no plot has happened, like, literally, it's just been them moving from one place to another, like, I
Mhm.
feel the same way about their relationship currently, like, their relationship has not moved forward or backwards in any way.
Yeah, it seems like
I
ever since the change, she seems to be okay with it. I mean, obviously she was like betrayed in that moment, but like she seems to be handling it well since then. Like taking the bath, doing the horse ride and all that, sexy fight scenes. I think
She
at this
did try to
point,
escape twice though. And I personally loved the second time she tried to escape when she holds a jagged rock to his neck and is like, I'm leaving right now. And then she notices he has a cut on his abdomen and forgets all about her escape plan.
Personally, the first escape plan was my favorite, where she found a knife without him knowing it, and he winks up to her trying to pick the lock with the just edge of a knife.
Yep.
valiant effort.
So I agree with you. I don't think that their relationship has progressed much, but I do think that this whole part of the book that we've read is a realistic timeline to get Kai, especially from the point where he's like, I have to bring her back to Kitt and allow him to do whatever I want him to doing whatever he's going to do that is like, no. And I don't think that they can both get really progressed in their relationship until that happens. Like, I think until Kai is like, I'm not bringing you to my brother, or he's standing in front of Kit and is like, I can't let you do whatever you're going to do. Like, I don't think that they can get past it because Kai still has to play the part where he is going to bring her to her death, presumably. So I think that it's just like a long, drawn out, I personally think a long and very cute, drawn out portion of the book where we're getting to that point.
I just feel like I can get behind a book that doesn't have a lot of plot going on, but has a lot of like character progression going on, or behind a book that has a lot of plot going on with like a little bit of like, but to have neither plot nor character progression going on for the past half of the book, I'm like, where are we going? Like, where is the next book even gonna take us? Who is the villain?
I think that's a great final question. Like, where do you guys see this book ending? Like, what do you think? Because we're finishing it after this. Like, the next time we get together, we're going to be talking about the end of Reckless. Like, what do you picture the end of this book being?
Kit going full on Mad King.
Yes.
But to do that, we would have to be back in Ilia. And do I think in the next 10 chapters we're gonna make the 5-day journey when we're only it just feels like every time I'm like, "Oh, they're making progression." The rebels are gonna come and steal them back to Door.
Maybe the rebels don't we don't see them again. Or maybe there's
Probably
like
not.
a time jump where like it's another week
I
I
did
back at Ilia.
have the realization that this book would not pass the Shell test.
wait, the what test?
The what test?
The Bechdel? Bechdel?
What is that?
Bechdel?
What's that?
It's the one where named female characters that have to have a conversation about something other than a man.
I don't think I know that one.
Hmm. I don't, but now I'm trying to think. This book in particular,
This
'cause
book.
I started thinking back to the first book and I was like, at some point she talked to Adina about either sticky buns or stealing shit or
Yeah, like the first
like
book did because we had Adina, but this book, it's just been her and Kai most of the time. Or Kit moping to himself.
yeah, I think the only other female characters that you could say that she maybe had a conversation with would be like the girl in the Resistance whose name
Nina.
I've forgotten and I'm not going to remember it at this point, just based off of principle. Um,
Oh,
and
Lenny's mom.
Lenny's mom was the other one that I was going to say. And they technically had a conversation about mixes, but that's like very that yeah, you're grasping at straws there.
Which is
Yeah.
just kind of crazy.
I love that I've never heard of that test
How
before, and every book needs to have two women having a conversation about not a guy.
literally, how did I'm surprised you've never heard about that. It's like a common like when you're watching a movie, you have to
Mhm.
like watch it and be like, is there a conversation here?
That's so I love that though. That has not happened yet and probably won't.
No.
Yeah. Um I also think full on Mad King Kit. I personally, Elena, I got the vibe from the last, not the last chapter, because the last chapter we read was Kit's, but the chapter before that, with it ending with Peyton asking Kai to like teach her how to ride a horse. I got the vibe that like they're going to be in Ilia in the next chapter. Like
No, I
that
know they are. I was just being s sarcastic because they keep not making any progress on their trip whatsoever.
I totally hear you. And I think there's a non-zero chance that something dumb like that does happen. So like you have every right to be somewhat nervous, but I think that they're going to be in Ilia very soon within the next chapter or two. And I love the idea of them meeting Mac to get the chain off because dumbest thing was like there's no discernible way to get the chain off. Like it's just like permanently on until it gets cut off. And I do really think that it is a situation where Kit is going to be like, for whatever crazy reason, you need to marry me now. Like, that's your penance. And Kai is going to have to put a stop to it. Or not. And, like, is that book three's plot line? And I don't.
I genuinely have no idea how this book is going because it's just I like what's even the goal here? Because like Kit's not bad enough to be like we hope Kit dies, like and Kai becomes king. Like he hasn't turned full evil. It's just everything's sitting in this weird like middle ground where it's like who knows?
Yeah. I would really like the series to end without Kit dying and Kai becoming king. Like, that seems very predictable to me.
Mhm.
And I would like to see Kit get some sort of redemption. Like maybe not full redemption. And maybe he like abdicates. Like I'd be more okay with that than him dying. But
Why even have kings?
or that. That seems like a hard left turn for this society though, Jamie. Do you think they can get there in a book in 1/4?
Well, they have a resistance, you know. Anything could happen. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Do
I'm sorry.
they?
They're dead. They're dead. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Maybe you'll get revived.
maybe. Are
They
we
could
all
be
still
dead.
thinking that Callum is on the side of like the monarchy?
I feel like he's gonna turn out to be our big villain. I just haven't figured out how yet
Yeah.
because we've seen him once.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't seen him again in this section.
Like he purposely led the resistance astray and failed them. I'm curious, like, is he just power hungry? And how does Peyton play into this? Because how would he have known that the king would have died? Like, how would that work in his plan? I just don't get. I'm very confused with him, and he's the mind reader too.
Yep. Yeah. I still want there to be something weird with the king getting killed by Peyton too. Like it's been brought up multiple times, and it could just be like them rehashing like the "you killed my dad, I killed your dad" thing. Um, but it keeps being brought up in like the "how did she kill my dad?" Like Kai had some sort of thought about like, oh, what a weird set of circumstances that like brought the two of them to the point where Peyton killed him. So I don't know if there's something lurking back there. Yeah.
Do you think we'll be surprised by the end of this book?
In one way or another, yes. I do.
Yeah.
Even if it's, oh, that happened. Like it might not be like, ah, I'm shooketh. It might just be like, ah,
Didn't see that coming.
surprise.
Twist that doesn't make sense.
It's okay if it's Kitt doing it because nothing he does is making sense. So that's why I could see something coming totally out of left field. I'm hoping that very soon we are going to get to their relationship making more sense. But I do fear that it's going to stay the same until the very end of the book, where Kai admits that he has feelings for her and is choosing her over Kitt. Gotta happen, right, guys? Beginning at the end of this book, right? Right? Please.
I guess we'll see.
Oh God, I could see it being dragged out more, to be honest.
God, no.
Tired.
I am jazzed to finish this book personally. I know it's just me, but like I cannot wait to finish this and just know. Like I just want to know what is in this back quarter.
I
I'm so
wanna finish
curious.
it to see, like, if there was a big, like, underarching theme that's gonna pull everything together.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I'm
Now I'll be
excited. I'm
wondering if
excited to be wrong.
it.
Let's do it. All right. We're gonna finish Reckless and then meet back here and talk all about it. Thank you for joining us for this section, and we'll see you then. Bye guys.
I